Yeah, agreed.
And that's what's driving me in this situation. There's been a big influx because people have suddenly not been able to get out, so they've had disposable income again because they're not going anywhere for 2 years. So they've got into it because they liked motorsport, there wasn't anything else going on. And it's all kind of self-perpetuated itself.
I agree. Yeah, I think... Oh, Mac, are we on stream? Okay. I just think really quickly, I think, Dexter, you know we spoke about before where we take more of an LFM approach?
Yep.
I think with our new penalty system that we do, we give them one chance to reply, as in I accept my punishment or I don't, and then you put a reason in. And then if they say no and there's a reason put in, that gets looked at. If we still think that's the case and the penalty should stand, the penalty stands regardless of no backwards and forwards.
Yep.
That will clear out. That will improve driver standings. Because those people will get penalised, thus then getting a time penalty, thus meaning getting driver penalty points, meaning they'll.
Good evening. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can or not. Welcome. This is his penultimate rounds of the championship that we have here, and it is going to be exciting. We are Brands Hatch. So we are good old Brands Hatch. Who doesn't like Brands Hatch? Let's see, shall we? How is the audio and video? Let me know. I've just dropped out the comms box. George, sorry to hear you've no power in the house. That's awesome. That's what's going on. Gasman is here to install the meter but hasn't resolved it yet. Oh no. Were you meant to be racing tonight, George? Thank you very much. That's very appreciated, Lindsay. Yeah, so Brands Hatch, 2 races, 15 minutes each. It's just going to be immense. Not much room for overtaking, and let's be honest, it's a bumpy track. If you don't have traction control, if you don't have all the luxuries the GT3 cars have, then yeah, it's going to be like riding a bucking bronco. So as I think is the best way of describing it, this is going to be quite intense. Now I want to... Hello Zeta, sorry, I know you were having a conversation, that's why I jumped out of comms. Are you all done? They're having a conversation. Okay, thank you very much. I didn't want to interrupt them, so here we go. So I'm going to do a little very quick bit of housekeeping before we start. We've got just 1 minute and 40 seconds before free practice finishes. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button. I haven't done commentary in a while now, and like somebody proved to Hayden that I should stop being the comms team. A thumbs up would much be appreciated. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and you can become a member for £2.99 a month, which will give you access to things that other people don't. If you're on Twitch, like Asgettian is, good evening Asgettian, I hope you're doing well, good to see you in the chat. Bossman Mac, it's good to see you, thank you so much. If you're on Twitch, smash that follow button, and you can subscribe to support the channel as well. If you're on Discord, there is links to our Discord. You can become a tier member in Discord. Now it's not using Discord, it's our own system. So basically there's 4 tier system where you get access to different things depending on what tier you're at, which is really, really good. Everything that is monetary wise goes straight into the running costs of this machine, which is called Toga Motorsport, and it is a machine and a half. It's like trying to run an Aston Martin with the cheapest fuel you could ever think of. So yeah, and there's the website. Thank you very much, Hayden, appreciate you. So yes, I'd like you to introduce you to the very, very familiar voice now of our Zeta. Good evening, Zeta.
Good evening.
How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Awesome.
It looks like everything seems to be working on my end for once. I'm as promised, I have been doing a bunch of stuff back office with my system, and I think, fingers crossed, it's vaguely working now, and I have a lot more channels to play with.
Oh, amazing, amazing. So, as a little bit suck it and see, and sorry, I don't mean to be rude, we have our very own head steward, the legend in Toga, that is Mr. Dexter. How are you, Dexter?
I'm not bad, you?
I'm not bad, thank you. It's good to have you in. So, as Dexter's here, we are running post-race only incidents. We are not having live stewarding just due to the low numbers and the fact that, I'm going to jinx this now, that nothing has really happened for the stewards. So you can just imagine turn 1 chaos that is about to ensue because I have opened my mouth and given the whole commentator's curse. But anyway, we shall see. And it'll be good to have Dexter in here because Dexter can give us a steward's eye view of what any incidents that come up as well, which will be good. So the GT4s go out first so that they can have unhindered access to the track, I think is maybe the best way of describing it. I know, poor Zeta basically has been doing everything for me in the past couple of weeks, and it's greatly appreciated. She absolutely is. For that 12 kinds of trouble.
Oh, that's us.
Alright, okay. I was just about to say, you're sharing a Discord? What? Okay.
That was us. Sorry, that's
okay.
our Twitch.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
By the way, if you have seen it when we've been streaming, and that is our Twitch handle.
Ah, that makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. So yeah, so the GT4s go out and they will do their qualifying, and then halfway through they'll be told that's you done, and then the cup cars will go out and do theirs. Obviously, it works for this track because Brands Hatch is not the largest track. It's not the best track for trying to overtake, and generally My personal opinion, Brands Hatch for me is iconic. It's like Spa, but it's my British Spa. I just love its characteristics. It's bumpy. There's some curbs that want to kill you at every opportunity, and you have some amazing straights after quite technical corners, which just makes everything so good. What's your thoughts on it, Zeta?
Absolutely love it. I'm a big fan of some of the old school tight, twisty UK park tracks.
Yeah.
Here, Alton, it's not in this one, but the old Cadwell Park
Yes.
setup. That has so many options. Having grown up here in the UK, it's sort of loads of the British touring car circuits.
Yeah.
You know, door banging with what you see driving down the road. Is a lot of what we grew up with, and to some degree do try to still follow. But yeah, it's great.
Absolutely.
There's so much character to the circuit.
And that's the thing, it has character. It's not, and I might be a bit controversial here, it's not Yas Marina, it's not Abu Dhabi, it's not tracks that have literally been designed to be flat and have some corners in it. This track has been raced on for longer than I've been alive, and this is just so iconic. You've got runoff areas where if you go into the kitty litter, if you get back out, you're going to be lucky. If you do get back out, you'll be at the back of the grid, because these traps are literally traps. Turn one, I mean, as per example there.
Makes you go very wide. I don't know if it was on stream, we were just following the previous lap. They had an almighty two-wheel moment as well. So
it's almost as if they were listening and thought, do you know what, I'm going to prove Mac right here. I'm going to drive into the kitty litter just to show you how bad it is. But, I mean, turn one alone, off camber, unsighted apex, coming down a sweeping hill as you're trying to keep the car on the track limits. And these cars don't have the aero grip that GT3 cars have, especially the Cup cars. Cup cars literally have like a Porsche badge on it and a go-kart inside it. You know, the levels of electronics is nothing in comparison to the GT3s, and I think that actually pushes you as a driver. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. There's nowhere to hide. Even with the GT4s, there's nowhere to hide with these cars. You just have... It is just... This is the car, and this is what it's going to do. It is up to you whether you can muscle that thing around the corner and vaguely tame it, or if it's going to tame you and park it in a tree.
Yep.
The Cup cars in particular, no traction control. Yep. They do have ABS, but it's not a huge amount different to the road-going ABS. Yep. So a lot like the GT2s, you can't turn it up and it likes it. Yep. It's very much you use it and you use it sparingly.
Absolutely. We're just watching Hannick, who has set the fastest lap at the moment with a 1:31.6. I don't know what race control's doing, but I'm just seeing yellow flags for people that are out on track. I don't know if it's...
Seeing as well. I'm seeing exactly the same thing. I might just reboot my race control in a second between qualifying and race and see what happens.
Yeah, it says because I thought there can't be like 3 cars off all at the same time. I mean, this is the penultimate rounds before we go to the last track. It's been an interesting competition, and I would say it's, I mean, certainly from the commentator's point of view, we literally are getting into the race as it finishes. You know, there's battles going on, and just as things start to settle down, as it does naturally in a race, going a bit wide there. A bit of drifting going on. Nice. That's nice for Fast and Furious, but maybe not quite as quick on the track. But he maybe realised he was on camera and thought he would give us a bit of a show.
And some with the fours, they do like to move around a lot more.
Yes.
They don't have the aero grip, so they are happy at moving around.
Absolutely.
And also, the tyres are a slightly different construction, so they don't mind getting a bit more sideways.
And
you can hang these things out so much more than you can a GT3, and the tyres don't die.
And it's the GT4s don't have tyre warmers, neither do the Cup cars. Is that right?
Nope.
Yeah.
No, nothing here has tyre warmers. Basically, the only thing you get in ACC that gets tyre warmers are the GT3s.
Yeah.
Everything else is none.
Yeah. We've got some beautiful liveries showing up tonight. So we've got Mr. Hannock has basically binned it. Oh no, Mr. Macy, just as I go onto him, commentator's curse onto the grass.
7.5 minutes the Cup cars go, isn't it?
Yes, I believe it's split in half. So
That's fine. Sorry, I'm just doing the bit that Dexter normally does. I'm sat here trying to remember and everything. We did chat about it beforehand. I'm just being. My brain is a little bit addled today.
7.5 minutes from me.
Yep.
Yep. So.
And this is the thing. I mean, Ari Fasttail really pushing that beautiful gold Porsche at the moment. Unfortunately, not really a flying lap, but looks like it will be good enough for third, as long as.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, there's currently 4 GT4s out there.
There was.
So.
Yeah,
I mean, whatever happens in GT4, as long as you finish, you're guaranteed the top 5.
Well, yeah, exactly, absolutely, and I mean, Ari is actually P2 in the championship for the GT4 Porsche Cup. Oh,
second! I did see that go green briefly just before, just went into the second sector, so I was keeping a bit quiet on that one, but
Yep.
yeah, went green and got themselves up in second.
Beautiful.
About a second between first and second.
I know.
With GT4s, between Hannock and Ari there, and then it's a 10th. That's pretty much all that splits it. Is just over a 10th between Fasttail and Macy.
Yep.
And then it's about 3/3 of a second or so back to Berg.
Yep.
In fourth with a 34.4. So 31.6 to 33.4. Not a bad split, particularly for such a small class.
Yeah, absolutely. We're following Regatti just now in the 51 car, the Porsche Cup car, just to see. He's obviously looks like he's going to be the first one to set a fastest lap as he starts his fastest lap now, and you can see how much the car moves, even under braking, coming over the hill into the turn 1. The car is just floating, and it's your job to try and keep it settled, but brake and slow down enough to actually negotiate turn 1. So, yeah, I mean,
Indeed.
These drivers are just a different class. I mean, for me, the GT3 Porsche was a handful, but if you remove all the good things electronically from it, it's just a beast to try and tame.
Yeah. I mean, these Cup cars, I think with the exception of having their traction control system removed and having a roll cage. No, I'd have to check the roll cage situation. I'm pretty much sure that basically this is the road car with some slip screw to it.
Oh, okay.
That's been one of the big things with the marketing with the Cup car, is that basically it is a road car.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets some slick screw to it, and that's about it. Obviously, there's a few differences with some of the safety systems. Safety requirements for the FIA, which you're not allowed to use on the road.
Yep.
Fire extinguishers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, having a pressurized fire extinguisher system within the car, they don't like you having it on the road, even though it's probably a good thing, mostly because it doesn't go off. It's a bomb sat there in the event of a fire.
Exactly. Absolutely. I know. And this is a thing very quickly that obviously cars are switching back to petrol from diesel, and petrol is so much easier and quicker to ignite in a crash.
Well and truly.
You see it more often now where cars are actually on fire when they crash. I actually remember very quickly there was a two-car collision that I went to, and I tried to start the car that ran into the back of the other car, and the whole engine just went out in flames whilst I was in the car, and I'm like, maybe I want to get out of this car now. So yeah, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but absolutely, as you say, this is basically a road car that's been thrashed around a track that.
Indeed. I mean, on that note, we've been following. Obviously, we have a bit of an interest in passing interest in the engineering side of things. We've been following a lot of the hydrogen development. Honestly, from having had to deal with liquid gases and stuff for work, I would rather be sat on either a tank of diesel or a tank of compressed gas, liquid gas,
Yeah,
than
absolutely.
a tank of petrol.
Yep.
They're genuinely, you can put, as long as it's not an acetylene cylinder, you can pretty much put a gas cylinder through absolute hell before it fails.
Yeah.
And also when it does fail, it's a gas.
Yeah.
You might get a bit of freezer burn from it because expanding gases in physics, but it's going to disappear into the air way quicker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Diesel requires a huge amount of heat before it will ignite.
Yep.
Petrol, not so much.
Absolutely.
Because both of the fuels that we use, petrol and diesel, it's not actually the fuel itself that burns, it's the vapor, which is why you need an air-fuel mix. With the air vaporized inside the fuel, and that being provided in this instance by injectors.
Yep.
Being the way in which the fuel is ignited. So as soon as you have that air-fuel mixture, which is very easy, it doesn't require a huge amount of heat with petrol before you get those vapors come off, pretty much at ambient air temperature you get them, they go up.
Yeah.
I could stand there with a box of matches and just keep throwing them lit into a pan of diesel and it's not going to be a problem.
No, that's right. George, I'm glad to hear Power's back. Does that mean you're going to be racing?
Indeed, come join.
Exactly.
The space. Come join, it'll be fun. Come sideways in the Porsches.
Regatti is P1 with a 126.7s, just increased his time. Callum Jones in P2, he is improving. He's just dropping to 2.5 tenths, back up to 3 tenths.
Tenths, 3.5 tenths.
This could be close, but he's losing everything now. So
just lost a bunch of time coming out of there.
yeah,
I was looking at the timing screen, didn't see what it was. It's so easy there to lose a bunch of time. Ends up going a 1.3 back as the 1.4 and falling and climbing as they cross the line there.
it's the whole timing screen. The deltas are green.
So Vino just jumped themselves up into second, 127.1 on that last lap.
That's impressive.
That's not bad. Jones 127.19 versus 127.17. Both finishing 5, so that is 200ths of a second between those two cars. So any improvement is pretty much guaranteed to put you up a position between those two at the moment.
Yep.
Still puts first about 4 tenths away, and they are currently 4 tenths up on their fastest and coming across the line now. So that's about to get a bigger gap. We go 126.4.
Jeez. Callum Jones, half of a second quicker with this lap. Oh, he's got all kinds of sideways.
He's still up on time, though.
Still up on time. That's impressive. He hasn't
still
lost.
up 4 tenths now. As long as he can hang it together through this last corner, may actually get pretty close.
It's like a four-wheel drift.
Half a second. 5 tenths, almost 5.5 tenths.
Second.
Go
P2.
second, 26.6.
2 tenths.
And that's what happens when you stop concentrating.
I was just going to say, just to prove that the Porsche can go round and round and round in circles. Eric Berg is improving, and Eric is a good driver. I've raced against Eric before in a previous community. He's 4 tenths up, so that could drop him into P5. It'll be a good showing for Eric if it does.
P5 won't be quite enough to P4, but definitely a jump up at least one place.
Yep.
Everybody else has parked it, and Brackstad is... Brackstad hasn't actually set a legal lap yet, but I believe joined about halfway through the GT4 qualifying session. So
yeah, that's understandable. So it is.
Berg doesn't improve and stays 6th.
He did go up to 5th, so someone had Brackstad's put in a a P3.
Braxton jumped in and put a 26.7 for it. Basically, no practice, turns up and does that.
And does that. That just shows the talent that Samuel does have. And a lot of these drivers are very, very good in different cars. I mean, we know that Ari is quite used to the Aston Martin. Eric, I think McLaren as much as a Porsche. Samuel, I've seen Samuel in so many different cars, and Callum as well. Callum was lethal in the GT4 when we had the GT3, GT4 competition running. He was lightning quick, and he had an amazing battle going on as well. So a really, really powerful set of drivers. Right, let's very quickly, if race control can actually
just
do
quickly
this.
rebooting race control as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So
see if that's going to stop the yellow flags coming up.
P1 we've got Gianluca Regatti in the 51. We've got Callum Jones in P2. He's done well to get up there, but they need to be very careful. This man is a silent assassin. He says very little, but he does all his talking in the track. Samuel Braxstad in the 75. We've then got Arcadio Trevino, who is in P4. We have Danielle Maffioletti. Wow, that just rolled off the tongue. In the 21 car. We've got Eric Berg in that white Porsche, which is looking beautiful. In P7, we have Gabriele Caprezzi. P8, we have Tommaso Bocci. P9, we have, okay, I'm just going to say his surname because his first name is just as bad. Siracusa. Hopefully I've said that reasonably correct. P10, we've got Petrozella. P11, Hanek with the first of the GT4s. We've then got in P2, stroke P12, Ari Fasttail. Then we've got Macy. Then got Berg in P14. So we've got four GT4 cars, and we have 10 of the Cup cars racing tonight. Now, just remember, we have got 2 races on tonight. So we have this first race, which is 15 minutes. We then have a couple of minute break just for the drivers to reset themselves and get a drink and whatever else they need. And then we have another 15-minute race after that, which will be it'll be interesting. So it is. I think Donington the last one I actually did of the Porsche Cup, but
probably because we did Valencia last week.
Yeah, so that would be about right. So it has been a few weeks, but and this might not be everybody's cup of tea. The Porsche is a I think the Porsche is a very difficult car to drive, regardless of what your mindset is, but if you can master the Porsche, and lots of people have said this, you can master any car. You know, the Porsche is such a tricky car when it's got high fuel load, low fuel load, when the tyres are cold, when the tyres are hot. There's just so many different factors that affect this car, maybe slightly more than what other cars like the Aston. Aston's quite a safe car. BMW's quite a safe car. McLaren's quite a safe car. The fuel loads don't affect it as much. So hats off to these drivers, and you can see they're not just toddling around the track. They are going quite quick, so they're with what they have to hand. So yeah, I mean, where do you think are the overtaking opportunities, Zita, for brands?
I mean, if you're alongside somebody and you're willing to hang it out, it's brave as anything, but sometimes you can hold something into turn 1. Have done that to people. It's terrifying.
Whether you're in the
if
inside
you're close
or
enough
outside.
again on the break down into turn 2, or up into turn 2. Downside with that one, even in these GT4s, which comparatively have no brakes compared to a lot of other cars, even compared to the GT2s, they have no brakes. You can, it's a very short stop braking zone, so turn 2 you can do. Long run down into this top section of the track, in this essentially outfield GP lap that we
Yeah.
run here rather than the Indy circuit, which, I mean, it's not part of it, but I would absolutely love to see it because I think it would just be hilarious for like GT4s and stuff.
Yeah. I enjoy the Indy track as much as I enjoy the GP track. And again, it's an unsighted right-hander coming back onto that start-finish straight again. So
Yeah. As we come past, we're sat here following the GT4 traffic just to see that start. But
Yep.
as we come past it, you'll see where it comes back onto the track, and
That's
it literally just elongates the last corner.
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, no, if you can get a run on somebody through down either of the long run under both the bridges here, you can get a bit of a run on somebody down onto the brakes, into the penultimate corner, and then into the last corner as well.
Yep.
Across the top of the hill, up and down through that section, across the middle, through the middle sector. If you're willing to go side by side through there, you've got to be willing to hope that the other person is willing to do the same thing, because that can end in tears very quickly. And we're racing.
We are racing, and already Regatti going into the defensive line. Looks like Callum Jones trying to get that cutback, switchback there. Not quite. He's now got Samuel Brackstad all over the back of that bumper of the Porsche. These three, I think, Callum looking a little bit twitchy. I don't know if he's got a bit of internet going on or something, but at the moment there doesn't appear to be a huge amount of change in the GT4. But I'm seeing further down that the Cup car, the GT4s are looking as if they've got a bit of change going on.
The GT4s are going for it. Not only did two of them absolutely swamp Sarusa in the GT in the Cup car, Hannock and Macy are just going for it. Basically, they are both now ahead of this Cup car, and the Cup car has nowhere to get past. It's faster in a straight line, but the corner speed of both these classes is reasonably similar.
Yep.
So through this rough, almost one-line section across the top of the track, there's nowhere for him to go.
There's not at all.
That's now holding up Ari behind the Cup car, because Ari's trying to get past, but he's too far away to have a go into the corners. But the Cup car can't get past down the straight. A big twitch coming out the last corner. So nearly ended up in the pits, and Ari ends up in the wall as well.
Oh, that looked painful. Let's just go back and have a look at that. Just coming out the last corner, gets onto the grass. Car doesn't like it, unsettles the suspension and just spins it around. Ooh, that was a sore impact. That has got quite a lot of damage, that car now. Yeah, poor Ari kind of getting things all a bit wrong, but we see that Hannock and Macy side by side as I come down here, and we've got the Cup car behind, just wondering where on earth he could fit and a third car in here, and it looks like Macy has lost a position, and he's now got that Cup car to the side of him. He's boxed in. As you can see, Hannock going defensive. The Cup car does get past. I think that's sensible for Hannock. He's not fighting that car. He's fighting the car behind him, and it's more important to concentrate on your battle. You know, pick your battles, as the old saying goes. But already we've seen such a huge fight going on in amongst loads of different cars as well. Samuel Brackstad is not letting Callum Jones go at all. He is only 3/10 behind. One mistake from Callum and Samuel's through, but very, very close battling from both categories at the moment.
We just had a quick look back at Ari. It looks, I think there's not really many straight sections of the track, but it looks like that car might be crabbing slightly.
Yeah, that's a shame. Samuel's I don't mean all over the road in a bad way. I mean he's using literally every part of the track, even the runoff grass areas that have got the fibre concrete underneath it. He's just all over it, and he's already on the back bumper. He's looking to try and tuck in behind the wing of Callum Jones as Regatti is sailing off figuratively into the distance. But Callum, unfortunately, now looking well behind him rather than in front of him. They have got almost 2 seconds to Trevino and P4, which won't be much comfort to poor Callum, who... I mean, Callum is very consistent, and so is Samuel. We know them from various championships that they've done in the past. But do you think Callum can keep Samuel behind him, Zita?
I think they're both very good drivers. I know what Samuel can do, but I also have seen what Callum can do, and I feel like this is an unstoppable wall and an immovable object.
Yes.
Yeah. An immovable object and an unstoppable force. One of them will give, and whatever happens, as they both close up big time on Regatti through the brakes there. Has strung out a little bit, but that gap's now come down inside of a second, so between everybody pushing, that is a place coming out of what is it Graham Hill, or is it some, I can't remember the corner names like Hayden can, but that's another one that's really easy to pick up track limits, so with such a short race, the last thing you want to do is drive through.
Absolutely. And we can see, I don't know if Regatti had an issue, but he was almost a second ahead, and then he lost half a second in the last couple of corners.
Might have been a little bit early on the brakes into the hairpin, or slightly slow out of the first corner.
Yeah.
Because that gap's just eked out a little bit now, but again, essentially one make racing like this, there's nowhere to hide. It is driver skill and setup.
Absolutely.
Who can set the car up the best and who can make the most out of their car.
As we see Callum, we've got a bumper cam just now, and Callum, back end of that car drifting out. Callum seems to be on that limit of, I'm going to let it slide a little bit, but it's going to be a controlled slide. Oh, but there's a big slide.
That's more than a controlled slide. That's way more. That's completely over the door. Callum has no option but to go defensive into the hairpin.
I am so sorry for that, Callum.
As Bragstad gets it loose on the exit and runs wide over the curbs, but not quite as controlled as normal. So both of these drivers going tit for tat. As we see Macy again, still right on the back of Hannock. Hannock again coming up through there. Through the hairpin as they drop back down the hill. Again, both really good drivers. Macy just dropping back a little bit now on Hannock, but both still hanging on to each other's coattails. I will keep an eye on that gap if you wanted to go back to the Braxton Jones.
Yeah, sure. It's interesting because I'm seeing Samuel's taking slightly different lines, whether it's in or out of corners, but he's literally flicking the car into the mirrors of Callum, doing it just before corners, which is an absolute pro racing driver technique, just trying to put them off, lose the concentration a little bit. You can see Callum goes really wide going into T1, whereas Samuel tries to take a tighter line, but he left so many tyre marks on the track coming out there. He is absolutely on this. I don't know whether maybe Samuel has first sector better than Callum, and Callum maybe has second or third, but I mean, Samuel is there, but he just doesn't seem to have that extra 1 horsepower to try and get past. Oh, this could be it though. Callum gets all kinds of. Oh, I'm going to shut my mouth and let you commentate.
I was going to say, I think Jones is possibly a little bit more trimmed out for the higher speed stuff.
Yep.
Whereas I think Bragstad's just got a little bit more mechanical grip set up in the car. Yeah. So it's a little bit happier into the slower corners, which the first sector or so is mainly. Obviously, the first corner is quite tricky, but the car's going so light over that crest, your aero's not doing a huge amount.
No.
But going through turn 2 and 3, and then back up onto the straight, it's much more about your mechanical grip, how the car's handling the bumps, as the exit of turn 3 on this track is really rough.
Yep.
If you end up in the wrong place, there's some big holes that you can end up bouncing the car through. So I think that may be the case. Is Jones is just a little bit trimmed out, a little bit quicker in a straight line.
Mhm.
Runs really deep there into the hairpin. This is a prime opportunity. Who's got the drive? Now running that deep does give Jones a bit of a straighter exit,
Yep.
but very much leaves them under fire into the next corner.
It's unusual to see Callum actually making a mistake. It is quite unusual, but he's made a mistake at this corner in the last, and he's actually okay this time. Alf on YouTube, no one else is saying anything, but I can certainly have a look at it. There's not much I'll be able to do whilst we're live, but I'll have a look at things and see if there's any issues going on.
Ooh. Thank you. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know. Is Hayden?
Processing error your end, because you're the one streaming this tonight.
Yep.
Oh, that's let Braxton through.
Yep.
Jones just punted it in, got way too late, way too tight on the brakes, and just ran in deep and wide. Nothing could be done. Got the car well held, ended up going basically sideways into the gravel on the exit there, but that is a big gap to make up, as I was watching this battle with Sorosa and Pizzarella, but those two seem not quite sure what happened. They were under each other. Sorosa was under Pizzarella's rear wing, but has very much dropped back now, so I don't know if there was a mistake there by Sorosa.
Samuel is on the limit. He got a bit wide into the gravel from the exit of turn 1, but it hasn't affected the difference at the moment. I don't know that.
Look, his car is so loose on the exit there. So as he went into turn 3 there, he kind of checked up, had a couple of bites at the apex and missed, and then got loose on the exit, lit the rear tyres up again. I think somebody may have overheated their rear tyres a little bit too much, and now they are paying the price.
They're suffering.
As Jones looks like they're able to get back on terms now, just having cooled their tyres off, taking it a little easier. That's a slide and a half again. I mean, we got 3.5 minutes basically to go, plus whatever lap there is after that.
Yep.
This isn't over. Neither of these two are going to give up.
Absolutely not. What I'll do is, after this race is done, I'll end the stream, change a couple of settings, and then start again and see what if that's any better.
I think you just need to pop your bit rate up a bit.
Yeah, I'm sitting about 2,500 at the moment. I don't know if I can actually do the bit rate whilst I know I can't change video. It's
this is everybody else is strung out nicely. It's just this Jones battle. As Jones is now the one very much trying to fill Braxtad's mirrors. Braxtad is so loose on the exit of the corners. I think that car might be struggling a little bit more with the bumps. Tyres may have overheated a little bit, so they're very much past their best, and is now trying to hang on to quite an unwieldy animal by the looks of things there. Both of them run wide through there. I wish I knew these corners better.
Let me know if that's any better.
Just coming down into the penultimate corner now.
And to be fair, Regatti has basically just driven a great race. He's 4 seconds ahead. Okay, Samuel's been looking behind him. The fighting slows him down slightly, but he hasn't put a foot wrong.
No, just consistency.
Yep. Fastest lap of a 1:26. Okay, Alpha, I appreciate your help. Thank you very much, and thank you, Dexter. No, not at all. We always try and give the best we can audio and video wise, especially when the racing is this good. So no, I appreciate it. I absolutely appreciate it.
Unfortunately, some of this stuff has to be done on the fly because we can't necessarily see what you see.
Absolutely, and that's it at the end of the day. So bit rates up. I haven't got any drop frames. thankfully. And yeah, we're almost a minute and a half left. I think this will be the last lap.
I didn't hear the in-game
No, he
race
didn't.
director
No.
say anything, so
One more lap after this.
maybe. How far? It's
Oh,
4.
look how close this is! Callum, actually, I don't know if he had to get out the way there because he was that close they were going to end up collecting each other. But wow, I mean,
I think it's just how respectful and how good these two drivers are. Is they know when a move's not on and know when to back out.
Absolutely, we're not seeing any sends, and I have to say overall, from what I've watched and what I've commentated on, the driving level has been really high. So that's us in the final lap now.
There we go, with that 30 seconds to spare.
We haven't had red flags. There hasn't been huge sends into certain turns. It's all been really good, very professional. So, and again, Callum all over the back again.
Oh, that was a big pair of 11s out of there.
Wow. Look, he's right on the back here. He literally could touch the bumper of Samuel's car ahead of him at the moment.
I can't remember which. We were watching one of the World Endurance Championship races, and it was battling much like this. And unfortunately, it got curtailed a little bit by a red flag. And they were looking down the grid, and there was the Aston that had been following the other one. Had a tiny, like at the bottom corner of the car that they'd been battling with, diffuser just embedded in their front splitter.
Oh, jeez, oh.
If you just backed your car into it, you could still glue it back together.
I think Callum's like, he's lost a little bit of time now.
Both of them have just I think they've let the car a little too loose, and neither of them have got quite enough tyres left. I mean, it's been a 15-minute race, but you can see how much these cars have been moving around.
Absolutely. Here we go. Regatti is about to take.
This. We've got Fasttail and Berg. Last lap of the race. Looks like Fasttail's been hanging on to whatever damage they've had, because I haven't seen them pit.
No, I don't think
they're right on the tail of Berg on this final lap.
I think one more lap he may have had the opportunity to get past. Alf Callum is one of, if not the most respectful driver you've raced against. He is just awesome. He is so quick as well. I mean, the guy is just really an all-round really good racer. And it looks like Mr. Hannick will be taking the flag for the GT4 Porsche class with Macy in P2. Berg, who he sees trying to stay ahead of Ari Fasttail.
This is not over. They were a couple of tenths apart at the line.
Yeah.
And it looks like Ari's just struggling a little bit through the faster sections of the track. I don't think has.
Oh.
No, they're all on the same lap, so I'm assuming they hasn't pitted for whatever damage they managed to pick up.
Yeah.
So it may not have.
Little bit touchy there.
Seriously big twitch over the last curve there. May not have synced up quite the same as it was on my end for what we were seeing or for what they had.
I think that just says about Ari's race in total.
Yep.
So we have Regatti finished P1, Brackstad P2, Callum Jones P3, Trevino P4, Maffioletti in P5, Eric Berg P6, Crepezzi P7, Bocci P8, Petruzella in P9, Siracusa P10. We've then got Hannick, Macy, Berg and Fasttail for the GT4s. So a couple of minutes and then we'll be kicking off again on to the second race, which will be good. So if you are enjoying it, make sure you smash that like button on YouTube. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost anything. And if you are on Twitch, then please hit that follow button and consider subscribing. And here we go. So I think this is a practice. This practice.
It's
a 3-minute practice. Just
3-minute practice session, just for people to be able to go grab a drink, go to the loo, etc.
Absolutely.
before we're into the next 15-minute qualifying session,
Yep.
and then we will be on to the final race for tonight.
I think I wonder what a 30-minute race would be without any. You know how LFM do the 25-minute daily races. I wonder how these cars, the tyres especially, would cope with 25 minutes when you watch the likes of Samuel and Callum racing against each other like that. I mean, you're just going to end up.
You would take a slightly different tack,
Yeah.
particularly 30 minutes with no pit stop or anything.
Yep.
It would probably finish just as frenetically, but wouldn't necessarily be quite as rough to start with.
Yep.
These cup cars, having said that, they do. There is an endurance kit that you can get for them, so you can do longer races with them. You do see them entered in the Creventic 24H series.
Okay.
So they do go and do 12 and 24-hour races with them.
Jeez.
There's an entire class dedicated to them. I mean, they let TCRs run in there, and anybody that's come across one of those knows how much of a handful those things are.
Yep.
Much the same as they run those at the Nordschleife as well as do these things.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody now knows very much how much of a handful these things are now.
My goodness, yeah.
Instantly, I need to find out whether we can actually see that server without having the DLC. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. It's certainly something if I get the opportunity to spend the time doing it, I would be tempted just to give them a go, good go.
Yep.
Because they're a really, really fun platform. Like I say, these are basically road cars, more so than the GT2s of road cars with slick screw to them. This is like properly, you can go on and order one of these from your Porsche dealer, and you could have this as a track day car in this spec.
Could you imagine having a Porsche as a track day car? I mean, that just blows my mind. And I know
I've come across a number of people, well-oiled, well-heeled petrol heads.
Yeah.
Through our work being what it is, who have GT4s. They were like, I could have spent the money on a one of these hyper exotic things as we go.
Back to qualifying again. Aria first.
Rather excitedly.
Oh dear. I can kind of see why he ended up all over the place into the barrier. But I mean, Aria is a good driver.
Is indeed.
Yeah.
But no, you can go and buy these cars.
Yeah.
We know somebody who had one of our customers that we used to deal with had a Ginetta. Didn't actually go and race it.
Right, okay.
They just had it as a track day car because it was so much fun to drive.
Right, okay.
And they could have gone and bought for the same kind of money, or probably a bit more, one of these super exotic supercars or whatever. It's just like, for something I'm going to take to the track and rag around it, I want something that was built for it and it's more fun to drive.
Absolutely.
I'm not near, if I dink it or break it, comparatively it's so much cheaper to fix.
Oh, absolutely.
And to run. I don't have to think about it. I can go out with full hands device and fireproof suit, look, turn up to a track day with all of the gear, and then go and put people in Ferraris and other things to shame because I just don't have to think about it.
That's it, exactly. And it's a whole thing of mortality when they talk about Formula One drivers, race drivers in general. In real life, they don't seem to have a fear of dying or a fear of crashing into the wall and things like that. It's the exact same thing, it's not your car, or it is your car, but as you've already said, it's not as expensive to replace parts of it if something goes horribly wrong. Alf, the Porsche Cup is quite easy to drive as well. I haven't driven it, but I will take your word for it. Sorry,
We've given it a brief go. It's not too bad. The bit you have to remember that takes a bit of getting used to is the lack of traction control.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're jumping out of GT3s.
Mm-hmm.
Not having that is a bit of a thing. But if you go from essentially a GT2 to the Cup car, it's a much less of a jump.
Yeah.
Because the assistance, the electronics aren't really anywhere near as invasive.
Yeah.
Or as effective, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the jump between a GT2 and a Cup car is very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
But the jump between a GT3 and a Cup car is reasonably big. But no, they're still a friendly car. At the end of the day, they're still more likely to understeer on you than oversteer, believe it or not.
Right, okay. I suppose that's true, and is that because of it doesn't have the aerodynamics, where it's just a more mechanical grip, or
it comes down to the fact that it's much like the GT4s, is they have a tendency to, you see the cars moving around so much on the suspension because they're largely built as road cars.
Yeah.
Yes, you are totally right. Those things are bonkers, the Janettas. Just go and look at the support races. I think they've now moved to British GT support races.
I was going to say, I think BTCC had the Janettas.
They did have the Janetta Cup cars. They've moved because there were more people using the Janettas as a feeder series to go GT racing.
Yep.
They moved over to the SRO British GT series and moved out of being the support categories for British touring cars.
Yep.
But because they're
sorry,
hanging this car out, absolutely hanging this car out. It's great to watch. But so road cars generally, because understeer is safer than oversteer for most people to deal with.
Yep, absolutely.
They are set up to be understeering.
Understeer, yep.
So the closer you get from a full race car to a road car, the more natural amount of understeer that you're going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Alf, you were at Alton Park for the British GT. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, lovely.
That's Alton Park.
I hope your socks have dried out.
There's some amazing racing, especially the juniors, that were amazing to watch. And that's the thing, they go on about karting and things like that, but there are some genuinely good junior cups round about
Indeed.
the UK that bring on some very, very talented drivers. So they do. But do you live near Alton Park, or was that just a track you chose to go to, Alf? But at the moment, Hannick is not disappointing. He's
It's 31.5 again, so.
Yep. And
Not hanging about there. 30
going to improve.
2 for Macy, and Fashtail's managed to get up into third with 32.3.
Yep.
There's literally a tenth between second and third there at the moment, and then Berg is 33.0.
Mm-hmm.
So, bit of a gap, but definitely not insurmountable.
Yep.
But Macy and Fashtail, I have to wonder what could have been as we see Harry go for another trip through. Harry, you're not a lawnmower, you're a race car.
He's a dragon. He's just trying to find the optimal line through the grass. Alf, you're 40 minutes down the road, or is Alton's 40 minutes down the road from you? That is
nice.
That could be dangerous. I would spend a lot of time down there, so I would. But no, it's good, and I think any races that come to local tracks, certainly in the UK, and it'll be the same for Europe and all over the world. The more racing comes to these tracks, the more revenues made, the more these tracks can continue. Where we've seen tracks that are fallen by the wayside, and I don't know how much of a rumour it is that Spa's been replaced by a different track in 2026 for the F1. I think it's an American track, possibly, but I don't know how much of that's truth. That's online gossip.
That's going to be wait and see. I think that will be a death nail for Formula One if it does.
And the thing, I mean, Spa is as iconic as Brands is, you know, just on a larger scale. If you're going to drop
history.
any track, that would be your last one that you would drop.
Oh, completely. I do think that there should be more of I still can't seem to find this last 10th. Oh no, that's because Macy's gone faster at 132.127.
Jeez.
Ari hasn't improved as of yet, although is currently improving, but so is Macy. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it. We ended up doing a lot with historics and vintage. So where we were until we moved at the end of last year, as bollocks. Sorry, I just realised that I hadn't told the cup cars to go, but they're being extremely well behaved. I honestly don't actually need to tell them when to go. I just looked at the time and saw a whole bunch of yellow flags. I went, oh yeah, I should have done that 10 seconds ago.
I don't think anyone really needs to tell racing drivers when to go, but you're absolutely right. Sorry, carry on.
But so we were about an hour, just under, from Goodwood. I mean, our local, we had 3 tracks locally that were all within about an hour and a half of us before we moved, because we had Brands, Thruxton, no, not Brands, Goodwood, Thruxton, and Castle.
Right, okay.
Being where we were. So, yeah, obviously, Goodwood has its own members meeting and all that stuff that goes on with it, all the historical stuff. But Thruxton and Castle are both actually surprisingly historic circuits.
Yep.
And have a surprising amount of history and time. I mean, Thruxton still keeps going because it's actually still a live airfield.
All right, okay.
It is a small local airport and actually operates as such.
Yep.
I believe has its own air traffic control within.
All right, okay. Yep.
Whichever the larger airspace is. I think it's connected. I think to Eastleigh.
Yep.
And connected into Eastleigh, Bristol, and one of the London ones which is out on the west side of London.
Mm-hmm.
I think is Heathrow.
That was a lot sideways.
Sideways out of there, coming out onto the straight.
Oh,
it hits the bumps and the back end just goes for a wander.
Yeah, it's almost like a forklift. Alf, you're just outside Chester, just over the Welsh border. Ah, very nice. You're hopefully going another 2 or 3 times this year. Oh, amazing, absolutely amazing.
Macy, Castle Combe is amazing. It is. It's so fast. Both Castle and Thruxton, if you get a chance to go and drive them, they are unbelievably quick as a circuit. Mm-hmm. They don't look it, but they are extremely fast.
Yeah.
But again, that's what happens when all of these are old, much like Goodwood, is it's perimeter roads. They are the old, as we see the first lap times coming through, 26.4 for Brigatti as a first flyer. And 27.3, 28.6, 27.6, 29.0. Sorry, I'm just seeing these times come through on my screen. Yep. They're all crossing the line.
Samuel
that looks like
P1.
Indeed, 26.2 now. I was just watching 26.27. So that is how a lot of these tracks came about. Is interwar and post-Second World War is, well, we've got a bunch of airfields that we don't use anymore. Yeah. What do we do with them?
Yep.
We'll go racing around them.
Exactly.
And that's literally how they came about, is we'll just throw cars around them. And heck, if you've seen any of the jalopies they used to run around them, like you think motor racing drivers are unhinged now. Whew.
Yeah, especially...
You see what they do with some of the vintage stuff, and it's beggars belief.
Yeah, absolutely. Health and safety wasn't really a thing back then.
If you get a chance, go and look it up on some of the Goodwood members meetings. Now, I believe they're on YouTube, on their YouTube channel. And yeah, some of the stuff is just... You basically have an aircraft engine with some bicycle wheel screw to it that you're trying to hurl around a track.
And we see Regatti has just taken P1 back again
Back again
with a
by
1:26.0. Samuel's, I don't know if he's slowed down for traffic or because he's 6 seconds off his last lap.
I wouldn't be surprised. Where is Brexad on track? I wonder if it dropped back, slowed down to cool tyres off.
It could be.
And
The same
that was
corner.
not going well.
Pictures
That
it.
was a moment of, I am a passenger now. I
Yeah,
can't do
absolutely.
anything about what's about to happen.
I'm looking out one of my side
with
windows rather than the.
20 to go. I think that may be day done for Bragstad.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Could get out and get another lap in, but it's normally 2 laps to get the car. It's going back out. It's going back out.
Oh,
so,
well.
as soon as you can get another one in.
George, your great-grandfather came motorcycle racing round here when it was a grass circuit. Oh my god. I can't even imagine the bravery he would have required to do that. That is that's awesome though. Macy, the Whittington brothers' history is amazing.
It is brilliant. Randy Lanier is another one. It basically between those three got and a couple of other, I can't remember all of them, but basically is the reason that IMSA for a long while and still to some degree is known as the International Marijuana Smugglers Association. I mean, how else are you going to pay for going motor racing? It's expensive.
Absolutely.
But it's why Road Atlanta exists, basically, because the Whittington brothers used to take off and land aircraft on the back straight.
Okay. Right, I see.
They just bought the circuit and...
Callum Jones, I thought he was going to improve there. Just not quite enough to get past Brackstad, but he's certainly got one more lap in him at the moment. Georgia was just the Indy circuit back then.
Currently flying, is 7, nearly 8 tenths up.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow this one through and see what happens.
Callum doing a bit of four-wheel drifting again. He's going to have to find a few tenths on this track somewhere if he wants to take that second position. Otherwise, he is going to be looking at the back end of Samuel Brackstad's 75 Porsche, which he certainly doesn't want from that point of view. But he is pushing it, and at the moment, it would be enough. It could even be enough for a P1 if he can do this. Regatti is out on track, but just over the line. So with 1 second to spare, Regatti over the line. So he is obviously worried that he doesn't have enough to keep P1. And this is going to have to be a
Berg goes 26.9, so that's a massive...
That was an epic...
That was an awesome run. Goes from 7th up to what is now 6th as... Brocky goes faster.
Callum Jones takes P2 and is only 0.04 of a second off of Regatti's time. Regatti not making any progress on his lap. He will be satisfied to know that he is still P1, but he looks like he's going to be contested possibly a bit more in this one.
This happened last week at Valencia as the first. I almost want to say it takes them a session, a quali and a race session to get into the groove with these cars.
Yeah. And
then the second...
that's one way to finish your lap.
That's one hell of a way to finish your lap.
Wow, that was impressive.
The second time out was a heck of a lot more exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, not the first lot wasn't, but it was another step up in terms of how quick these cars were running.
Yep. Alf, you've only been to Oulton Park, Donington and Silverstone in the UK. Well, that's 3 more than I've been to. Was Silverstone for Formula 1 or was that for a different race? And Donington is, for me, an amazing... I mean, I hark back to the PlayStation 1 days with Toga racing round Donington Park. with Ford Mondeos and what was it, Vauxhall Vectras then? No, Cavaliers. I think
It would have been
Vauxhall
Cavalier.
Cavaliers.
It would have been
Yeah,
It would have been the early Mondeos and
it
late
was. Yeah,
Cavaliers
it was almost
before
like
they got
Mark
replaced
1.
by the Vectras.
F1 and BMW 118s. Nice. Awesome. Right, let's quickly run through the lineup. So P1, we've got Regatti, only 400ths ahead of Callum Jones. Samuel Brackstad again in P3, so there's no change in the top three from last starting position for the last race, but I think Callum is going to have to pull a trick out the bag to maybe get ahead of Regatti and let Regatti and Brackstad battle. We've got Trevino in P4, Bocci P5, Eric Berg P6, Maffioletti in P7, Crepezzi P8, Siracusa in P9, Petruzella in P10, and then into the GT4s we've got Hannock P1, we've got our Macy in P2, Ari Fasttail P3, and Berg in P4. And again, we'll do one formation lap, and then it's going to be a rolling start again for this second race. And again, just remember, smash the like button if you're watching on YouTube. It's very much appreciated. It really does help the channel out. Yeah, I mean, as Zita said, it's almost like the drivers possibly subconsciously use race one as getting to grips with the car, because these drivers will be driving different cars in the ACC each time, depending on what teams they're in, what races they're going for, and things like that. So we could see quite a contested battle, but I think Callum Jones really needs possibly a bit of fortune on his side this time. If he could get side by side with Regatti into P1 into turn 1, it could put pressure on, but yeah, it's going to be certainly interesting to see from that. So this will be the drivers. Just you see some of the cars up on the ramps. They're obviously just checking their setups, maybe tweaking tyre pressures, just trying to get the optimum setup that they can get. Obviously it's 24 degrees, unheard of in the UK, and it's sunny as well, which is unheard of.
I think there might be one, maybe 2 days in June when it gets up that way.
Yeah, and you'll probably find you're working those days, so yeah, you're it's never. Wow, Callum Jones absolutely lighting the tyres up again.
And none of these things have tyre warmers, so
yep. And Samuel was the same. Samuel absolutely lit it up on the
all the way down the grid.
Yep.
Everybody lighting everything up.
Yeah,
Get the cars off the line. Get some heat into the tyres.
Absolutely. Work the car as hard as you can.
Unlike longer races, this is to some degree your tyre prep.
Yep.
On your formation lap like this is almost the most, if not one of the most, if not the most important bit of the race.
Yep.
Because if you don't get enough heat into your tyres, they're not going to be sticky, and you're going to go into turn 1 and not have any grip.
Yep.
So it's getting the heat into those tyres, getting the heat into the brakes, getting everything nice and toasty, and then go from there.
Yep. And interestingly, we're at Imola for the last 2 races next week. So that'll be interesting. Another track that's not exactly straightforward to get past other cars, but we'll wait and see. And a quick reminder that Zita and Ollie, I think, is back with you Saturday evening, 7 PM for the 24 Hours in 2.4 Season 2, which has got 3 classes. It's got the GT2, GT3 and GT4, all pitting for a win. And then we have is it the last driver swap or second?
I mean, you're racing, you should know.
And I really should know. It's the penultimate round on Sunday evening, 7:30 for again Zita and Ollie, I think, for the driver swap.
All being well, it would have been myself and Ollie tonight. Unfortunately, Ollie had some issues to attend to. So it's theoretically me and Ollie for both races this weekend. But we shall see. Hopefully, all is okay their end. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
it may just be me. It may be me and either Mac or somebody else.
Either way, there'll be a driver swap race with myself and Hayden and Aston Martin at Monza, which is a scary combination. So we're on the start finish, just waiting. The red lights on the top right of the barrier there, just waiting for it to change. And we are green, we are racing.
Go, go, go.
And already Samuel looking quite tasty, but Callum is in. Oh, he's on the march again. He looks, he is looking, and he has. Can he stop that car in time? Oh. They are now side by side. There's nothing between them at the moment.
Oh, that's a big mess further back. That was I didn't entirely see what happened there, but that was a big mess. There's a whole bunch of people got checked up, and that has just
Callum has
bounced everybody around, and now the grid is completely jumbled up.
Yeah.
Who has ended up where on the list? It looks like Macy got out of that one the best from the GT4s. He's now up into 8th.
Nice.
Out of all of that schmozzle of cars, with Muffetti in the GT in the Cup car behind, with Pizzarella and Hannock, Sarosa, Berg and Fastel. Unfortunately, Ari not having a good round this time round. Got bounced around in that one as well and ended up, after a fantastic turn 1, going from third to going for it and trying to go from third to almost first through turn 1. Just got checked up into the back end of all of that, and with nowhere to go, with the Cup cars getting scrambled up. I don't know if you had a replay on that one, because I didn't entirely see what happened either.
No, I was busy. Callum's went from fighting into P1 to P3. His lines were compromising Samuel. Oh, he gets really sideways there, coming out. So, again, Regatti, a little bit on the edge, but he doesn't have a huge amount of time between him and Samuel Brackstad, who has now got the bit between his teeth and is tasting for P1. Callum's slightly further behind. He will have Trevino behind him to chase for that P3. But certainly Callum was, as I thought, he had to do something special. It had to be a do or die situation for him into turn 1. He was side by side with the leader. Oh, Regatti getting really, really wide there. And unfortunately it didn't pay off for Callum.
I am sorry about those noises. I just saw Sarosa go 3 wide with 2 GT4s going down the back straight.
Oh no. Oh, no.
Somehow managed to get through. But that puts Hannock, Berg and Fastel pretty much on top of each other now.
Wow.
As it was Hannock and Berg that were running side by side. As Fastel goes for it. Can Fastel hold this one against Berg? Coming down, I need to jump cars. No, not quite coming out of the penultimate corner into the last corner onto the pit straight here. I almost want to call it the isn't, because it's not straight. Ari all over the back of Berg there trying to...
You nerd. Unfortunately, I laughed, so I understood it as well, so I'm just as much of a nerd.
As it goes deep again, deep under brakes into that hairpin. Reasonably decent driving, hasn't just forced the door open and driven through Berg there, but yeah, this isn't over. Both of those are, again, this is almost touring car racing between these two. This is some proper door banging. As Ari has just got some mid-corner grip and speed on Berg, but Berg seems to have the drive on the exit. As they go side by side now, coming down the back straight out into the GP loop proper. Ari goes for the outside. Berg had to check up a little bit on the brakes and makes that one stick. Can Berg do anything into the next corner? No, not quite. Looks like that one is done for now. Whew.
Take a breath. We see Regatti. Regatti is now feeling the pain that Callum Jones felt in the first race. He's got Samuel Brackstad. Literally, you can see the whites of his eyes in the rear view mirror at the moment. Callum is a little bit further behind, and then he's got just over a second gap to P4. So I think he's maybe conserving his tyres a little bit, possibly watching to see if something comes out of this that he could get a freebie. But at the moment, Regatti is having to do qualifying laps because there are parts of this track that Samuel Brackstad is clearly stronger at and is able to catch up on him, but then Regatti gets to the parts that he's stronger on. This is really close racing, and it's out and out racing. Samuel is not conserving any tyres, I can confirm that. He is on the loud pedal as often as... Oh, Regatti goes wide and sideways. Oh, Brackstad's collected him. And Callum Jones says thank you very much. Commentator's curse. There we go. Callum Jones into P1. Regatti has just had a nightmare. So he has. I really think, let's have a look back at this again. I think he was just under pressure, but he got too wide. And it's so easy to do it on this one. He doesn't even get near the apex. Samuel kind of bumps him straight again, but he then into the barrier. And Samuel's went from fighting for P1 into P3 with Callum Jones just mopping up, and away they go. So Regatti now with damage into P5. That's not a race he wants. And we've got Brackstad being absolutely mobbed by Trevino, and Brackstad goes wide. Oh, and Brackstad is now lost. He's down to P3. Trevino gets past him. Brackstad with all kinds of oversteer going on the power. I wonder if his tyres have cooked slightly or what's going on, but Samuel is now looking to try and keep a P3 position. Wow. Wow. You're absolutely right.
I feel a little bit sorry for Brackstad in that one because basically it had basically a carbon copy of what's just happened.
Copy. Regatti and Trevino doing some synchronized.
Bouncing back. Hold your brakes when you hit the. That was a big hit.
Yeah, that was not nice at all. And it's so easy to do that in a GT3, a GT4.
Again, this track is narrow, it's rough, and it's seriously fast.
Yep. And
the margins of error you have around here is basically nothing.
Yep.
As we were following the Maffetti-Caprese battle, which has swapped round in all of that carnage. It was the Maffetti trying to overtake Caprese, but it looks like Caprese has lost out that one to that battle for now. But that was a big slide on the exit of the hairpin from Maffetti, which cost a bit of time, but it looks like Caprese's picked up a bit of damage and everything that's been going on. So I think might be struggling with that car a bit now. As we see Macy and Hannock as Sorosa has a big problem on the exit of turn 1.
Yeah. Wow, I don't know what happened there. He's had to reverse now. And now, he is literally looking at the back of the pack now. I did a replay and I still don't really understand what happened. Oh, and he's into the barrier again.
Oh, I think that may be...
He's RTG'd.
Yeah, that's when there's just too much damage to the car and there's not a lot to do.
All you're going to do is cause pain to yourself.
We have Hannock and Macy are... Ari's about 7.5 seconds back now from this battle. Hannock and Macy are still trying to occupy the same bit of track. With Hannock on the offense to Macy coming down into the penultimate corner now. Through there nicely. Not too much sliding around from these cars compared to the Cup cars. I keep trying to call them GT3s because it's normal, but...
Yep. I know, it's so easily done. Ari Fasttail up into P12. stroke P3 for the GT4 cars.
Yeah. Has managed to wrangle the way up there, but does have Berg just hanging on to their coattails. Just as a reminder, if you do make a mistake, I'm there and will take. As Muffetti goes past Berg now, in the Cup class cars. So I think Muffetti has managed to get away with potentially a bit less damage than some of the other cars that are now struggling a little bit, having been bounced around quite a bit. Whereas that Regatti-Brackstad battle, Brackstad is back ahead of Regatti and has made some gaps, so I didn't see what happened there. But there is now a reasonable gap between the two of them.
Regatti had come off the track, so he's actually made places through other people coming off and things, so he's worked his way back up. But there's like almost 3 seconds between P1, 2 and 3 collectively, so it's the battle further down that we're kind of concentrating on, where again Macy and Hannock are almost occupying the same space. Which
Can Hannock do anything around the outside? No, not quite. Just shuffles into line.
Yep.
Get the drive off the exit and try and do something later on.
He has certainly got a toe, but
got the toe. Very much got the toe. Hannock goes to
squeeze.
Defensive. Is that Hannock or is that Macy? No, I'm following Hannock. It's Macy that goes defensive. I'll get it right around at some point.
It's okay. I do that as well. I need to double check which card I'm actually following rather than anything else. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. Macy has slammed the door shut, and any momentum that Hannock had from that toe was gone completely. It's evening itself out. So this is the main battle we have. Callum Jones is just continuing to drive the way he does, and I'm not seeing any gains really from any of the drivers. Capezzi looks like he's closing in on Berg as well, but I mean, they've only got just over 3 minutes left now, so...
Oh, wow.
I know. Where does the time go in these races?
I thought that some of the longer races were bad for flying by, but this is...
If you blink, you'll miss it completely.
Yeah.
Hannock still all over the back. He's obviously trying everything he can, but he goes very wide on the exit onto the grass.
Oh dear. I feel sorry. On the one hand, I'm glad that it's not live stewarding tonight, and also I'm kind of feel sorry for what the stewards are now going to have to go through, because the number of drivers we have opted to go post race for this one, as Hannock gets it properly loose going through turn 1, loses a bunch of time. As Macy gets a bit of a twitch on the outside, but on the exit the hairpin, but not so bad.
Oh, but sideways again from Hannock. And the problem is, it's not like F1 where the tyres go off and will come back in to range at some point. When these tyres go off, that's them done. You might as well just throw them away. So if you've used your tyres up and you still have 3-4 minutes left of a race, it can be it's like driving on ice. Like there's no grip.
Oh, completely.
You actually lose the feel of the car with the connection to the tarmac as well. It's not comfortable. And then when you've got a car behind you like this, you are forced to push more than you would normally push if that was a scenario. But cleanly getting around there.
The GT4s aren't quite as bad as the Cup cars and other cars for burning their tyres up. You can slide them around quite a lot, as we see Hannock right on the tail of Macy there. Just had to back out of that one.
This is going to be it. Hannock's oversteered.
Compromised their exit.
But he's still got the inside line.
Macy's compromised their exit. Hannock has got the drive around the outside. Macy's on the inside into turn 1. They are too wide. Too wide going through turn 1.
They're
still too wide into the hairpin. Who's got this one?
Is Hannock going for the cutback?
No, I can't quite make any cutback happen there.
That, I mean, and I don't mean to diminish this, but this is a fight for P10, and it's still going. But I'm looking at Berg. Berg, Trevino, and Capezzi are all within five tenths of a second of each other. Trevino has just got past Capezzi. Yes. Oh, there's a bump. Oh, no.
There's a bump from all
no.
and
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but oh my word, like
that was a big one.
That was. I mean, yeah, it was just dodgems, and it was Trevino that actually managed to just slide the car through the apex to gain that place, but he got so close to Berg, and then he gets a tap on the back himself, and it just looks like Petrozelli was trying to drive through them or something, as if they weren't there. I wouldn't have said that was particularly fair sportsmanship, and Eric has now fallen down. Maffioletti has got past Regatti. I don't know if we'll be able to capture when that happened. He's now up into P4, so there's Regatti there. Does he have an issue? Oh, he has all kinds of issues. That car looks like it's done. Put a fork in it, it's done. The porker is gone. But yeah, Maffioletti, I mean, consistency again, and he's able to pick up a freebie. You feel sorry for the stewards? Don't feel sorry for the stewards, Alf. They need something to do to keep themselves occupied.
They've had any other races to worry about this week. They didn't even have any rookies to deal with this week, so...
I thought I was going to have Dexter on the end of my fishing rod there. It's at the end of the race. Jeez, I just wonder what's going on. We actually missed the end of the race there because I was too busy watching.
Jones came through first. I was just still watching this Hannock-Macy battle because it's not over. It's not over till that checkered flag, and both of these drivers are going for it. Hannock is still right on the tail. Has got such good drive out the penultimate corner. Can they make anything? Oh, there's contact. There's wiggling. I think it's going to be Macy's. They're side by side, but can't get the side draft. It was just Macy's. Just.
That was almost a photo finish, like the horse racing.
Yeah,
Wow, that was interesting. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not a steward. I'm certainly glad I'm not the head steward because, yeah. Have you got any feelings or thoughts, Dexter, you'd like to share?
I'm not gonna lie, I've not really been watching that much.
Oh, fair enough. Enjoy what's probably going to come your team's way in the next day or so.
It's fine, I just handed some onions.
Oh, I love it. I've missed you, Dexter. I have missed you.
Missed you too, mate.
Oh, thanks. So I mean, race 1 was clean, very good battling, and race 2 turned into dodgems. Is the only way I can describe it of any kind. Macy, not sure how you survived T1 or kept them behind. You drove well, so you did. You absolutely drove well, and you deserve that P1 spot for the GT4s. Alf Witchcraft. I don't know if Callum was listening to the stream or the racing gods were listening to what was going on, but I did say Callum was just there waiting for something to happen, and unfortunately Regatti just didn't make one of the corners. Samuel into the side of him. Samuel actually spun Regatti round the right way again, but then that cost him pretty much any chance of coming home in P1. But again, a solid P2 from Samuel there. Regatti eventually finishing 5th, just ahead of Eric Berg, who was actually catching him as well. So, and can we have a shout out for Ari, because a P3 win in a GT4 for for Ari. His first race wasn't the best, but he's hung in there, so he has.
Indeed, picked up a chunk of damage from pinging off the wall early on
Yeah,
in the first race, and just hung on with all the carnage.
absolutely. And drove well. I mean, the damage he had would have been affecting the car. Anyone who's looking at this and says it's a game, well, first of all, give yourself a good slap and a look in the mirror. Secondly, the damage isn't just visually; it does affect the cars in many different ways. Whether it's suspension, whether it's aerodynamics, whether it's the drivetrain, whatever it is. It does affect the drive of the car. So you're not just fighting a Porsche that's angry, you're fighting a hurt Porsche that's very angry. And Ari did very well. But again, Ari is a very good driver. So I don't see anyone in the interview waiting room at the moment. So I mean, I enjoyed the races. Even though there was only 14 on the grid, I still enjoyed the close battles that we had. I kind of feel that this race was meant to be Callum's race, to be fair. I just felt something was going to work in place for him. So I would like to take the credit for Callum's win completely. It was all my doing. I had a reverse commentator's curse. Or maybe I had the commentators cursing Regatti and it just favoured Callum. But no, a huge congratulations to them. We are going to be going to Imola next week at the same time for the last 2 races of the Porsche Cup. That will be very interesting. We do have a race on Saturday evening, which is 24 hours and 2.4 hours, which always brings... it brings good racing. It's like a mini endurance or a mini endurance. It's 144 minutes of racing, and it's normally a team of 2 that do it. And speaking of team of 2, we then have at the dreaded Monza and Sunday night we're going to have the driver swap cup where there are 4 Toga Esports cars entered into it. Callum Jones being one of the drivers, along with Elias Fernando. Myself and Hayden will be propping the grid up at the back, I have no doubt. And yeah, it'll probably be carnage. Hopefully it's not me that causes the carnage this time. That would make a change since my little faux pas last time. Macy, that's your first win in Toga. A huge congratulations. Well done. You absolutely deserved it. You had to fight him off right up to the very end. There was a couple of times we actually did think you were just a sitting duck. Well, I did anyway, because I thought Hannick just looked as if he was going to do anything he could in a safe way. But no, huge congratulations to that. So you, Zita, are doing the next 2 races as well. You're doing the Saturday night and Sunday night for commentary, I believe.
Yeah, we're back for both of those. So we will see all of you on both Saturday and Sunday night for the first round of the 2.4 and 24. So that will be 24 hours of in-game race time, sped up in to 2.4 hours. So it is a 10 times multiplier on time. So there will be night running, and there will be day. So being at, what was the first round? I really should remember this. I've been doing quite a lot of this. I've been jumping through between so many series at once at the moment. I'm trying to remember all of them.
Watkins Glen.
That one, is it? I want to say it's Spa for the first round.
No, Watkins Glen.
Watkins. Oh, that's going to be fun.
That is going to be interesting.
That's going to be really. I'm actually jealous that we're not racing that.
It's an interesting track at night as well, so that will be...
Yeah. I mean, probably not best. We cannot seem to break the duck that we've got at that track. We never have a good race. Great track. Absolutely love it, but never seem to manage to put a decent race together there. So we'll be there at Watkins, and then we'll be at Monza doing the commentary for that one. Should be Ollie, in theory. May end up, depending on what happens, may end up doing Sunday on my own again, if Ollie isn't around. Otherwise, if it's not Ollie with us, then we might be somebody else. We shall see what happens.
Exactly. Right, well, certainly from myself and Zita, thank you so much for your love and support. We really do appreciate it. Really appreciate Dexter as well. Always appreciate Dexter. He's a man of few words, but those are very important words that he says. He's a bit like one of these gurus. So he is. But no, a huge thanks to everybody. We have really enjoyed ourselves tonight. It's been great, been back in the comms box, and look forward to seeing you on Saturday and Sunday, hopefully. Until then, take care, stay safe. Bye-bye.